I still remember the night Bimbo pushed Zamani's hand away like he was some beggar on the street. That was the moment I knew something was wrong. Zamani had come with a steaming plate of her favorite jollof rice and fried plantain, all the way from a small kitchen in Surulere. The food smelled like love, smoked fish, curry, thyme, everything on point, but Bimbo just hissed and said, "Zamani, I'm not hungry, leave me alone." This was the same Bimbo that used to lick the plate and beg him for more. The same curvy caramel-skinned goddess who used to jump into his arms when he showed up with gala and Fanta after work. The same woman that once cried because he missed one of her birthdays. Now, she was rolling her eyes, scrolling her phone, and waiting for someone else. I didn't know who at the time, but it didn't take long before we all knew his name, Odogwu Pablo. Zamani was a boat driver, but he treated Bimbo like a queen. His car, a 2014 Toyota Camry XLE, was always clean, smelling of strawberry air freshener just for her. The man was dark-skinned, with the kind of thick beards that made women turn their necks twice. His haircut was always fresh, clean round cut with a gentle fade at the edges. Even though he wasn't rich, he had something more valuable: sense and love. They had been together for 7 years, that's 84 months, over 2,500 days of shared suya, Uber rides and late-night gist. Zamani used to say Bimbo was his wife in progress, but Bimbo, she wanted more, and when more came bearing a designer agbada and dripping gold chains, she forgot who had been there all along. It started slowly. She began going out more, parties, beach hangout, brunch with the girls. Zamani would call and she would say, "I'm busy." He would ask where she was. She would snap, "Are you my father?" One day she came back from one of those outings wearing a Cartier bracelet and holding an iPhone 15 Pro Max. She said her cousin gave it to her. Cousin? Which cousin? The same cousin that never showed up at Christmas. That was the beginning of the end. It wasn't long before she started sneaking around like a cat in heat. One night I saw her getting out of a white G-Wagon on a marital way. The car was shining like heaven's gate, and the man behind the wheel, tall, beard, dark gang, looking like money itself. That was my first time seeing Odogwu Pablo. He wasn't even hiding. In fact, he walked Bimbo straight to the entrance of her compound, kissed her forehead like she was a princess, then drove off with his driver. When I asked Bimbo who he was, she laughed. "That's just my friend, I beg." But her eyes were glowing like NEPA lights after 1 week of blackout. From that day, Bimbo changed. Her makeup got more expensive, her wigs became longer, and her clothes. Let's just say Zamani's jollof rice couldn't compete with the Odogwu's dollar. But Zamani was blind. Love had eaten his eyes like Bomo. He kept calling her baby, kept trying to win her back. He even sold his backup phone to buy her a silver necklace she never wore. The breaking point came 3 months later. One quiet Saturday morning, Bimbo called Zamani to meet her at a restaurant in Lekki. The poor guy thought it was a date. He even polished his car tires with Vaseline, wore his finest shirt, blue and white stripes, and sprayed enough perfume to kill a mosquito. He got there smiling like a fool in love, but the moment he sat down, Bimbo dropped the bomb. "I'm pregnant, Zamani, but it's not yours." The restaurant went silent, like Jesus has just walked in. Zamani didn't even blink at first. He just looked at her, eyes wide open, like he didn't hear well. "What? What did you say?" he stammered. "I said I'm pregnant for someone else. His name is Odogwu Pablo." Zamani stood up, smiled, and laughed like a man that had finally lost his mind. "Na me dey mad," he said to nobody in particular, then walked out of the restaurant. He didn't even touch his Chapman. Bimbo sat there, unbothered, sipping on her smoothie like it was just another Tuesday. Odogwu Pablo took her in, bought her a car, a new apartment in Ikoyi, and flew her to Dubai for her baby shower. Bimbo was living her best life, posting pictures with captions like God's plan and soft life or nothing. But money can't hide everything, especially regret. After she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, light-skinned, dimples like his father, something changed in her. She started posting less. No more flashy pictures, no more expensive dinner dates. Odogwu Pablo stopped coming home early. Sometimes he wouldn't come at all. Then 3 months after the baby was born, he came home smiling. "Let me take Junior out for the day," he said. "You deserve to rest." Bimbo smiled too. Thank you, baby." She packed the baby bags, kissed his forehead, and waved them goodbye from the window. She didn't know that was the last time she would ever see her son. Hours passed, then a day, then two, no call, no text. Odogwu's number wasn't going through, his driver missing too. On the third day, she got a call. A raspy voice on the other end said, "Madam, forget that pikin, no, you don't go." "What? Go where? Who is this?" she screamed. The line went dead. Bimbo ran mad that day. She broke every glass in the house, tore her clothes, sat on the floor, crying, wailing like someone who had just buried her future. That night, Odogwu came home, calm, fresh haircut, smelling of sandalwood. "Where is Junior?" she shouted, her eyes red. He didn't say a word, just poured himself a glass of Hennessy and sat on the couch. Bimbo rushed at him, hitting his chest with her fist. "Where is my baby?" Odogwu looked at her like she was a fly. "You wanted the soft life. This is the price." That's when she knew Odogwu Pablo had used her baby for ritual. The neighbors said they heard her scream like a woman giving birth again. But this time, what came out wasn't a child, it was regret. Bimbo didn't eat for 4 days. Her curves began to melt away like ice under Lagos sun. The same body that once turned heads at club and restaurants now looked like a shadow of itself. Her long Brazilian wig sat on the edge of the couch, forgotten, the fake lashes, the designer's bag, the goosey slides, none of them could bring her baby back. She sat on the cold marble floor of her Ikoyi apartment, eyes swollen, voice cracked, hands trembling. "How did I get here?" she kept whispering. "How?" And Odogwu Pablo, that devil, wore human skin. He moved around the house like nothing happened. He still blasted loud whiskey music, still drank expensive liquor, still wore gold chains that probably came from somebody's grave. He had blood on his hand, but those hands were too rich for the police to touch. Zamani didn't know. He thought she had moved on with her happily ever after. He didn't know that Bimbo was living in a golden cage, fancy but filled with demons. Meanwhile, Zamani was doing his own healing, sort of. He went off social media, deleted all Bimbo's picture, focused on his boat driving. Some days he would cry between rides, other days he would blast Burna Boys just to drown the silence in his head. But deep down, he still loved her. Even when she broke his heart like a china wire plate, Zamani kept her name in his prayers. He didn't wish her evil, he just wanted peace. Until one rainy evening, he got a call. "Hello, Zamani." He froze. That voice, that shaky, tired voice, it was her. "Bimbo," he whispered. She didn't say anything, just sniffed. Then the line went dead. He stared at the screen for minutes, trying to decide if it was real. She hadn't called him in over 5 months, not even when she gave birth, not even when she posted the baby's picture and everyone said the boy had her nose. That night, she called again. This time, she spoke. "I need to see you." When they met, she was sitting at the corner of a small buka in Yaba, dressed in all black, no makeup, no nails, no luxury, just paint and dry lips. Zamani didn't recognize her at first. "Jesus, Bimbo." She looked up slowly, her eyes were dead. "Zamani, I'm sorry." He sat across from her, confused and worried. "What happened?" She didn't know where to start. She didn't want to say it out loud. Saying it would make it more real, but she had to. She owed him the truth. Odogwu used our baby for money withdrawal. The words dropped like granite between them. Zamani's heart stopped. What? He breathed. She broke down right there in the buka, with pepper soup aroma in the air and Fela's music playing in the background. Bimbo cried like a widow. He said he wanted to take him out. I thought he was just being nice. But he never came back. He used him. Zamani, my son is gone. Zamani didn't know whether to cry, shout, or slap the wall. He just sat there. Then slowly he reached across the table and held her hand. I told you that man wasn't safe, he said gently. I told you. I know, she said. I didn't listen. I was greedy. I wanted more. Now look. She moved back to Surulere after that. Not into Zamani's house, no. That would have been too soon, but close enough to find her feet again. Zamani helped her with rent, even paid for therapy sessions, not because he was stupid, but because he was still. Zamani, a man with a heart bigger than his problems. They started talking again slowly, carefully, like two people walking barefoot over a broken glass. She would come to his place sometimes, sit in his boat while he cleaned it, talk about life, about healing, about what could have been. She never asked for more, she never pushed. But something had changed in both of them. Bimbo stopped chasing soft life. She stopped comparing love to money. She started selling skincare products online. Small hustle, but clean money. Zamani kept driving, but he added delivery gigs to his side hustle. One day, she came to his house and found him frying akara. Zamani, since when did you start frying akara? He smiled. Since woman I love made me broke. They both laughed. For the first time in a long time, they laughed like old times. But the world doesn't forget so easily. People started talking. Is that not Bimbo, the girl that left her man for that ritualist? She has come back after eating millions. Zamani is a fool, Sha. Me, I can never. The gossip was loud, but Zamani didn't care. He knew pain when he saw it, and Bimbo, she was still carrying the pain of a mother who lost her only child to wickedness disguised as wealth. But even pain can't hide forever.